Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Christine Meggs, first and foremost, and today we're kind of talking everything that I wish I could say to you as a type 2 diabetic if you were sitting directly across from me. So some background. I was diagnosed type 1 diabetic at 25 years old. I was training for my first marathon, so of course I was losing weight. It was the heat of the summer in Northern Virginia. Of course I was thirsty, right? When you see symptoms and signs, but you can also sort of explain them away, you ignore the obvious. Until I ended up in diabetic ketoacidosis and in the hospital for 3 days trying to get my sugar back down out of dangerous levels and clear some ketones and get myself back to health. So since then, I live this every day right alongside you. I have learned very many things. I have succeeded at many. I have failed at some. I have been educated on ways that I thought were outside what I expected to see in a metabolic disorder world. My graduate degree is in chiropractic, and don't even get in my comments. I get there's wackadoodle chiropractors. There's wackadoodle everyone, everywhere, right? There are firefighters who have fetishes for setting fires. There are pediatricians who are arrested for child pornography. So don't even come at me. An education does not define someone, just as much as non-education doesn't define someone, right? There are people that weren't college educated that have created miraculous inventions that have saved lives and saved people around the world. So let that one go. Second education, I went back to school and got certifications in functional medicine. Life kind of took me there. Obviously, I graduated graduate school just before I was diagnosed diabetic, and things happen in life that bring you to answer why, right? If I am someone at my core, I'm a problem solver, my answer to everything is always why. Why does that happen? Why do we need to change this? Why do these things interact? And across all of this, I have been sort of led to dealing strictly now with type 2 diabetics. I had a couple of years ago started a coaching program where I worked one-on-one with people. I thoroughly enjoyed that. But as I spoke to people, there is a whole segment of the population dealing and struggling with blood sugar that can't afford some sort of bougie one-on-one coaching. And I get this sounds super altruistic of me, but I could not ignore the people that needed help, that deserved help, that couldn't afford that. So I had, life takes you where it wants to take you, and sometimes you just hold on and go for the ride. I now have an entire school community that is designed to address how people can get their sugar under control in a scientific, individualized way without having to spend a ton of money. Really, we're looking at about $1 a day to be part of this community, to have guidance, to have community, to have support, to try and get to your health goals. So that's kind of the background of where I've landed, where I am today. You can see through all my videos on my channel, and you can see where I talk about how to check your blood sugar, right? There's a lot of type 2 diabetics that don't even know that, or pre-diabetics, right? If I can catch you at a pre-diabetic state and I can teach you what you need to look for and what you need to do, we can completely change the course of your health. And yeah, blood sugar checks are non-negotiable. Don't care what your doctor tells you, non-negotiable. You have to know if you are in any amount of metabolic dysfunction. Type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes is a metabolic dysfunction. Your metabolic system is not functioning in a normal or optimal way. If you are in any amount of metabolic dysfunction, you've got to know where your sugar is in order to change what's affecting your sugar. Truly, if we knew where your insulin levels were, we'd be able to catch things a lot sooner, but that's a different discussion for another day. So changing lives is really what I'm out to do. How do I do that? How do I best do that? There's some fantastic things about the internet, and I get that I'm coming to you over the internet, right? There are fantastic things about the internet. We've got more information at our fingertips than we've ever had before. On top of that, we've got a lot of pseudoscience. We've got a lot of opinions. We've got a lot of sales. We've got a lot of just hocus pocus bullshit that is out there now that can be scary and can lead you in the wrong direction. It can prey on a weakness, and that's scary. So let's get into what I'd say to you if you were sitting across from me. I understand this is going to hurt some feelings, okay? I understand that different life situations can make it next to impossible for you to make a lot of changes, right? I understand that. Type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disorder. No way around that. Type 2 diabetes, or controlling your type 2 diabetes, is a lifestyle disorder. Controlling type 1 diabetes is a lifestyle disorder. Metabolic disorders or disease causes your body to not function properly to the inputs of life. Diet being a very strong part of that. But we've got sleep, stress, environmental toxins, exercise or lack thereof, gut health, allergies, inflammation. We've got all sorts of things, environmental toxicants. We've got all sorts of things that can feed into that. Many are largely within your control. The ones that are not, you can usually work around by controlling what you can, okay? The control with type 2 diabetes, whenever I say type 2, no, it's not a whole lot different for type 1. Our lives day to day depend on our control a whole lot more. But truly, whenever I say type 2, I'm talking to type 1s as well. Our ability to control our blood sugars is 100% within our grasp and our capabilities. There is no one way to do that for everyone. There is not. If somebody is trying to tell you their way is the only way, turn around and run, because they're selling you their opinion or their supplement or their liver cleanse or whatever else it could be. I will come out and tell you that type 2 diabetes and blood sugar will give you the exact answer as to how you need to change things to control your blood sugar. When I said earlier, I'm going to hurt some feelings by saying type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disorder, I will tell you that blood sugar does not care about your feelings. I say this all the time. It sounds awful, but it doesn't. It gives you facts. I'm not saying that facts are meant to hurt feelings, but sometimes the true facts might go against what your beliefs are or what your feelings tell you about how they make you feel, okay? If you use your blood sugar response as your North Star, your guiding light, you will never be set astray. Now, if you want to buy into Joe Schmo's diabetes diet, go for it. But know that your blood sugar is still the be all end all litmus test of whether Joe Schmo's type 2 diabetes diet works for you or not. And when it doesn't or does, you have to be able to reinforce that and make corrections if needed, okay? Your blood sugar will tell you exactly what you're doing right. And most importantly, it'll tell you exactly what you're doing wrong. Do you have a complete food problem? Maybe. Do you have a bad marriage problem and that stress is sending your sugar through the roof? Maybe. Are your kids driving you bonkers and that's adding to it? Maybe. No, you're not getting divorced. No, you're not throwing your kids out. But can you learn tactics to help control your stress to get your sugar to respond in a favorable manner. 100%. Can you move more or eat differently or change the composition of your meals? 100%, right? There are people out there that say you have to eat in a certain order, and that works for some, not everybody. You have others that say fasting is the way to get type 2 diabetes under control. I know a heck of a lot of people that fast and their sugar skyrockets. Everybody that you speak to or encounter is in a different phase of their own metabolic dysfunction. They are individualized. They have different gut health, different responses, different sleep patterns, different movement patterns, and all of that has a complete effect on how their blood sugar responds. So to say that their one way is the only way, or their supplement is going to solve the world, is false. And it's sad and it's scary, because you, who I'm speaking to directly, is the one that suffers through all of this. Okay. Now, some of these things work. Some of them don't. Some of them might not work at all, but work because of the power of suggestion. And we know that that works, or you wouldn't see clinical double-blind trials where some people are given a complete placebo but get response, right? There is power in belief. There is power in hope and faith. And that's good, right? If you can change the course of your life by hope and faith, by all means, change your life. But truly, I'll say it again, blood sugar response is not random. And it is 100% within your control when you learn how to do it. Okay. So what I teach every single person that works either directly with me or joins our school community and follows along to the education along with the companion ebook that walks you through, holds your hand step by step how to do this, is if you don't know how your blood sugar is responding to every input you throw at it throughout a day, you can't possibly make the right choices to get the best sugar control you can. That means knowing your fasting blood sugar. That means knowing your 2 or 3 hour postprandial after any type of food you take in. That's what postprandial means. 2 to 3 hour. And we used to always say 2 hour, but I got so many people on GLP-1s that does slow digestion, and we're seeing that shift a little. We're seeing 3 hours being the time it starts to return to normal, and that's okay. If you don't know how your sugar sits before you exercise and immediately after you exercise, if you don't know how a good night's sleep versus a poor night's sleep, or somebody on flip-flopping schedules, working days, working nights, how that impacts their blood sugar. If you as a type 2 diabetic can't say that you know how these things affect your lifestyle or your blood sugar, how your lifestyle inputs affect your blood sugar, you can't ever say to me, I've tried everything, nothing works, because you have not taken a systematic approach to understanding how you respond to the life you lead. Okay. Now, yes, there are some things that are not going to be in your control. You can't affect the environment. You can't affect an environmental allergy or sensitivity you may have that could be throwing things off. I understand that. There's only so much we can do, but there is much that you can control. Now, back to why I changed from being a one-on-one coaching program. There's a lot of people that have serious type 2 diabetes complications, side effects, issues that just can't afford a large out-of-pocket expense for one-on-one coaching. And that does not mean that they don't deserve health. There's a large segment of the population that does rely on help for food, who might not have the same choices that others do, that still deserve to understand what they can do to control their blood sugar. And using a systematic science-based approach, and it is, right? If X causes Y and Y is greater than it should be, you have to alter X, right? There's just no way around that. But if you don't have choice over food, what can you then do to combat that? So if the food you are provided with does cause an elevated blood sugar, what then can we use to modify that might have an effect on that? Movement. Movement is one of the first things that anybody can start to utilize to help blood sugar. So if one variable is out of your control, you are, food is a scarcity to you. You are food insecure. You have sensory input issues and challenges, which makes textures in certain foods almost impossible to eat. What else can we then do to modify that? And that's what we work through. And truly, if you want control of your blood sugar, and truly controlling your blood sugar is controlling your future health. If you want control over your future health and your today blood sugar, knowing how to affect your blood sugar is the only way you're going to get there. Taking a pill or a supplement and hoping it's going to work, we all know what hopes do, right? Like hopes and dreams. They don't make reality, right? I have dreamt that I was born to a Rockefeller. It's not changing. Or, that I'm going to win the lottery. Hopes and dreams, they help hold on to things, but they're not going to make changes, right? Don't put your health and your future in the hands of someone else is virtually what that crazy way to say it meant. Know your blood sugar, know your response, know where you are. Now, outside that, can you do the exact same thing every day and get a different result? 100%, especially my women, especially my perimenopausal, menopausal women, right? Hormones play havoc on blood sugar. However, when you're testing and you know what's going on and you know what you've done input-wise, and you see a change outside the normal, you also know what to do to combat that, right? If you know that you get an aberrant elevation in blood sugar after a meal that should not have done that, but you also know that going for a 20-minute walk can drop you 20 or 30 points, you are in control of that. Can you do it all the time? Maybe, maybe not. But at least you know and you have at your disposal an answer. And that is what my framework works to do, is to teach you that there is always an answer. It is to teach you that you are 100% in control. I can't state enough that blood sugar is completely individualized. What one client might be able to eat for breakfast might be polar opposite to another. I have one that has to have protein every single morning, or his sugars are just sort of whacked out all day long. We have tested various types of proteins, and for him, it is animal protein. He responds to various sorts of vegan proteins to the point that we've just taken them out of first thing in the morning. We have incorporated different things that he does later in the day, but that first morning thing, non-negotiable. I have other people that can't tolerate any protein first thing in the morning, right? And it is not up to me to say, that's wrong. That goes against my theory, because my theory is, if your body tells you it's wrong, you know what it is? Wrong. And you can't have anyone, medical community, family, friends, you name it, tell you that that's wrong. If you have data that your body has done something, whether it's against conventional wisdom or not, if somebody tells you that's not right, that's gaslighting. If you know for a fact that X causes Y with you, no one can tell you that's right or wrong, because X causes Y. And in order to change Y, you have to change X. End of story. There's no way around that. Okay. I will die on that hill. By knowing how your body responds, You were in complete control of that change. Now, therein lies the challenge, right? Type 2 diabetes is quite black and white. Sugar response is quite black and white. The hard part around all of this is change. And I understand this. I get this. If change were easy, by golly, we'd all do it. And everything I'm talking about isn't anything that your endocrinologist doesn't know, your family physician doesn't know, right? I am not saying anything that isn't scientifically valid and uncommon knowledge. When you get told on the internet, your doctor's keeping this a secret, run. They're not. I get people that come to me that say, all my physician wants to do is throw medication at me. I'm sure there are some that right out the gate just want to prescribe. But if we all know that our viewpoint on life is based on our past and our experience, that physician has also had 100 people just like you come and say they're going to change. And, doc, give me some time. And how many times can you keep going to them with an elevated blood sugar level with an excuse before they have to step in and say, this is all I have to offer you. I know that you might have side effects with metformin. You might. But you know what you're going to have side effects from? High blood sugar. That one's going to kill you. We know that for an absolute fact. So when you keep showing up with elevated blood sugar, whether mildly elevated, because we know those mildly elevated ones cause problems over time, or dangerously elevated blood sugar in the moment, they hand you what has been scientifically proven to lower your blood sugar. Now, whole nother conversation as to whether or not that prevents side effects. There are other things involved than just blood sugar. Like I said, another conversation. But this isn't something they don't know. So all of those videos, those psychological operations that are designed to make you have a feeling, when they say your doctor doesn't know this, turn around and run. Turn around and run. They do. They know exactly what it is, but they're trying to solve a problem, and the problem being an elevated blood sugar that you are not getting under control. And the way they can solve that is through medication designed to lower blood sugar that you are not doing. So again, they know this. They will not disagree with you trying to get your blood sugar under control. They will not disagree with you trying to understand what affects your blood sugar. Some people, it might psychologically be too much. Others, this is fine. And that's okay as well, right? All of us are individualized. And back to the psychology part of type 2 diabetes, change is hard. Habits. A lot of these habits we formed from childhood on. It's that old dog, new tricks, right? Type 2 diabetes tends to be a later in life disorder. So you've had years of living a certain way, which probably led to where you are today. But you've got to then try and change it, which is difficult. I get that. And that is where community is helpful. Knowing that other people struggle with the exact same things gives a normalcy to it. You don't feel like you are outside normal because you are struggling or because you can't. Very incredibly well-intentioned and psychologically stable and strong people that do make change do have bad days, right? And that's normal. That's human. So we also have to understand that there is a large part of that involved in getting sugar under control. And that's okay. That's okay. You are not alone. You are not abnormal. Diabetes, type 1 or type 2, is a pain in the ass because it is with you every single day. You can't escape it without there being a consequence. I get it. I live it. I understand. It's frustrating. And it's sometimes nice to just scream alongside with people who want to scream alongside you. And that's a great part of community. So if you are a type 2 diabetic, seek out groups. There are all sorts of Facebook groups. Just to kind of feel like you're part of something, right? If you want to talk to me about our school community, jump on in. We can talk about that. But wherever you are, find a group of like people that kind of feel like home, that can understand what's going on. Because when you feel supported, it sometimes makes change easier. But back to why I do how I do it. If you see a direct result, complication or side effect from the decisions you make, it kind of makes it impossible to ignore cause and effect. When you acknowledge cause and effect, it makes change much easier, especially when you can make change that then has a significant impact on your blood sugar. You can't ignore that. You can't eat. I don't even want to give you an example because it is so individualized. And if I throw out one food, you're going to think I'm saying that's bad for all diabetics, and it's not. So I'll throw something out with me. Potato chips. Potato chips send my blood sugar through the roof. Okay. For me, other people might be fine. I cannot ignore the blood sugar reading that shows up after eating potato chips. I can also see how it doesn't happen when I don't eat potato chips, which makes my decision to not eat potato chips a lot easier. Okay. We're at a Super Bowl party. There's chips and dips, and I can honestly say it's not worth the blood sugar response. And for me, type 1, the insulin I'm going to have to take to combat that, not worth it. Pizza's another one. Pizza throws me through the roof. I married a man whose favorite food on the planet is pizza. Do you know how hard it is when he orders pizza on a Sunday to sit and eat something else? But it's not worth it. Not worth it to me. And that's me. Might be different for you. When you see the direct result of the decisions you make, you can make change easier because you know you are where you put yourself. You can also then make the decision to eat the pizza and go for a walk, or eat the pizza and go for a run, or eat the pizza and lift weights, right? Whatever it is that you have identified is helping you. And I'll tell you that is different for everyone else. So really, I understand that what I'm saying is there isn't generic advice that helps everyone. There's generic advice that will get you to a mediocre stage. And mediocre for many of you is better than where you are now. And if mediocre is all you can do, by golly, get to mediocre. But if you are one of the people that does not want to accept mediocre, or does not want more medication, or does not want to be put on insulin, you have to understand what your choices in life are doing to your blood sugar. You will learn blood sugar is not random. There is a direct cause and effect that you can identify in your lifestyle that can either raise or lower your sugar. There are certain foods that will lower your sugar. So if you are in a state where you're running high all day, there are certain foods that I know people I work with know to turn to as a snack, because that snack will lower their blood sugar. And it's that level of understanding yourself, your body, your inputs that can and will change your current blood sugar state and your future health. I say that with 100% confidence. There is not a single person I have worked with that doesn't get change when they make the right decisions. Say that very clearly. When they make the right decisions. When you get a blood sugar response that is accurate and predictable for what you did, if you choose to ignore that, that's on you. Nothing anybody can do to change that. They can increase your medication and you keep doing that. They're going to have to increase your medication and you're going to keep doing that. And then they're going to have to increase your medication more. And then you're going to end up with side effects and complications. There's no way around that. Type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disorder. And if you don't change your lifestyle, No amount of continually added medication is going to prevent the outcome that is predictable. Okay. If you want change, want control, there is a way to do it. If you don't, that's okay as well. That's okay as well. I know so many people that say, I'm going to die of something. I don't want to give up X, Y, or Z. That's a perfectly good answer. But if you are that person who wants control, type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disorder. I'm sorry, I'm hurting your feelings. You are where you put yourself. There's no way around that. You also are in complete control of where you go. The only way to have the best blood sugar possible for you is to understand what affects it, what raises it, where you are when you wake up, where you should be when you wake up, where you are after breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks if you do those, where you are after movement, poor sleep, fight with your boss, what you then can do to lower a blood sugar. Or you get in a fight, you have an argument with your husband, you storm out of the house, you're angry, go breathe in your car, right? There are different things that will work for you to help get you grounded, get you centered, decrease some of that stress, resolve some of the cortisol issues, and help get your sugar down. We know this. And what I work with people to do is to help identify the issues in their life that are affecting them. Now, do you need to work with me? 100% not. I've told you what to do. You need to check your blood sugar all the time. Don't tell me it hurts your fingers, right? I'm a type 1 diabetic, 30 years. They callous, just chew them off, right? Give you something to do in a boring meeting. But check your blood sugars. If you wear a CGM, I wear a CGM. I can tell you as a type 1 diabetic, I still check my blood sugars with my fingers 5, 8, 10, 12 times a day. CGMs are a great tool. They are not accurate. People want to argue with me all the time about this until they're like, my CGM says my A1C should be 6.5, and they get back from the doctor and it's 7.8. And they haven't checked lows or highs when their CGM tells them they're low or high. You have to. If you're on a Dexcom, I have no skin in the game. I personally like Dexcom over Libre because I can calibrate my Dexcom. I know there are a lot of people that say their Dexcoms aren't accepting calibrations, aren't saving them, and they're just not accurate. That's when they pull them off, get a hold of the company, have them send you a new one. Libre does that as well. If you were getting readings outside a 20% variance, contact the company, have them replace that sensor. Sensors do have issues. They're a tool. They are a fantastic tool. They are an expensive tool for type 2 diabetics not on insulin. If you can afford one, they are a fantastic tool. It does not avoid finger sticks. Finger sticks are king. You get an odd reading, you double check it with a finger stick. You go for exercise, you come back, you don't feel good, it claims you're well, you check it with a finger stick. You get a high blood sugar response, you don't ever just assume it's right, you check it with a finger stick. Fantastic tool. Technology is not 100%. They fail, they have issues, they have inaccuracies. You double check them with a finger stick. Figure it out, you'll be fine. You can use your fingers, you can use your toes. I've seen people use their arm just in the middle of nowhere. Wherever you need to get blood from to check your sugar and have an accurate representation of where your sugar is, how it responded to what you did, that's what you need to do. Is it tedious? Yes, 100% it's tedious. But I'm sure your loved ones will tell you planning your funeral was tedious. Get over it. Check your blood sugars. I know that was a harsh thing to say. I can be forward at times. Check your blood sugars. If I haven't said it before, check your blood sugars. You've got to know where your blood sugar is to know what you need to change. You need to make trial and error adjustments until you find what works. That might be removing a food completely. That might be reducing the amount of that food you intake. That might be pairing that food at a reduced amount with a different food that then has a complete different effect on your blood sugar. It's understanding trial and error what poor sleep does to you, what stress does to you, what exercise or lack thereof does to you. A lot of people say, I go away for a vacation on the beach, I drink, I eat, I do all these things, and my blood sugar is beautiful. That's telling you something. It's knowing how your body responds on a regular basis to your life and adjusting what in your life needs adjusting to get your blood sugar back under control. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me that this doesn't work. Prove to me that it doesn't work, because I'll tell you, you're lying or you're not doing it right. There's just no way around it. When you understand how you respond and you make the appropriate changes, even if you don't make the appropriate changes, you are at least in control because you know exactly what's going to happen when you do certain things. Keep it in a notebook, keep it in a spreadsheet, keep it in a file, keep it on your phone. 25 years ago, I kept it all written down in a little spiral notebook that I carried with me everywhere. Keep that. Watch your patterns. Watch your responses. If you're testing 20 times a day, go to Walmart, buy your meter at Walmart, cheapest place. It's just as accurate as any other one, okay? Get it done the most inexpensive way you possibly can. But check your sugars. Know before and after for everything you do in life. Know before you eat, 2 to 3 hours after you eat, before you exercise, immediately after you exercise. Carry your meter out with you while you're exercising if you need to. Exercise doesn't have to be some crazy thing. Exercise is what you can do, and it's a slight bit better than what you did yesterday. If that is sitting in a chair and moving your arms, so be it. But don't ever make excuses for why you can't. Excuses are not going to change your health and change your future. Excuses are not going to change your blood sugar. I want, I can't, are not excuses, okay? Moderation is not an excuse. Moderation is a word given to people to make them feel good about themselves. Moderation gives moderate results in blood sugar. Do what your blood sugar tells you to. If your guiding principle and your guiding light is your blood sugar, and you make adjustments based on your blood sugar responses, you will get control back in your life. You will get blood sugar control when you change what your blood sugar is telling you to change. You will get understanding, and you will know without a doubt that what you're doing is right or what you're doing is wrong based on your blood sugar response. As your metabolism changes, as your insulin resistance improves, as you lose some weight, your blood sugar responses will change. Can you get type 2 diabetes put into remission? Some people call it reversal, which just means that you are making enough change to have blood sugar come back in a normal range, below pre-diabetic, normal blood sugar levels. Yeah, absolutely you can. Can you get there and then stop? No. Once you've crossed that line, you have to make sure you don't cross it again. Do you have to always be checking to this degree? No, because you will learn quite quickly what you just need to stay away from, what you need to moderate, how you need to do things. And then you're just kind of keeping up with it. But takeaway, type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disorder. You are in 100% complete control of your blood sugar. You just have to decide to take the time to learn how your blood sugar responds to the life you live. And you have to have the desire to change those lifestyle inputs that are elevating your blood sugar. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. Will it be easy? No. Will it piss you off some days? 100%. Will some days just not make sense? Yeah. But on the whole, you will gain control, you will gain understanding, and you will reduce your blood sugar levels. No way around it. You can do it. If you ever have questions, reach out. I am always here to answer questions and to help as best as possible. If you need me, reach out. But you can do this. Quit buying into the easy way out. Become a vegan. Become a carnivore. Take my berberine. Change your lifestyle. Those things can help, but if you are not paying attention to what your blood sugar is telling you, you're chasing your tail. Have a good one, guys. Be good, diabetics.